Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com. What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, bringing you a Magikey profile on the day of the release of Dawn of Majesty. Now, I'm just going to dive straight into the profile, take you through some of the options. It does have some expensive cards in it, but I will explain some very cheap budget alternatives if you just want to put this deck together, ready for the new support in Burst of Destruction. With all of that out of the way, let's dive head first into the Magikey profile. So we start off with 3 of the Bateau Buster. Now this is your core go-to card. It is your level 4 tuner, and you can ritual summon it using a Magikey I think it's like Magikey. Basically the card that is a ritual and a fusion spell all in one, so Magikey, but you can ritual summon this using other ritual spells as well. If it is ritual summoned, you can add a Magikey card from your deck to the hand. Only use the effect once per turn. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster that has the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of cards from your hand to the bottom of the deck and then draw the same amount of cards and negate that opponent's monster's effect. So if they've got like a battle effect, you can negate that, but very rarely you're going to leave this card on the board that way. You're either going to use it as rank 4 material or as a tuner for Synchro or Halifibrax plays. Now, at current, I'm only playing one of the boss, the Gas Guster, purely because it is a higher level. It is a little bit more difficult to deal with, but I am trying to play around and trying to fit a second one in. Again, you can ritual summon it using the key, and it gains 300 attack for each different attribute in your graveyard. Only use each of the following effects once per turn, and when your opponent activates a monster, an effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, if this card was made using 2 attributes at least, you can quick effect negate the activation if you do destroy that card. If this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. Now again, the only monster you're really going to want to search off is this one. It is only if it is sent, so at any point if you link it off or get rid of it, you can get that search. But the whole idea behind this is your defensive monster. A 2800 defender that hopefully if you've used hand traps as well, it's going to be able to negate 90% of what your opponent throws at it. Now, if you're backing this up, your full board, your full amazing combo is going to lead somewhere with a Savage Dragon and this guy, or of course you can end up having like an Appaloosa and this guy, which is why we're only playing at 1, because it's not a consistent factor you're always going to get out and you're always going to successfully summon to the board. But if you do want to be going more pure, then you can play it at 2. We're then playing 3 Clavikey, who is of course your vanilla Sky Blaster, and of course he is 1900 attack, 1900 defense. Not much more really needs to be said about this. Then for the next 2 vanillas, now these can pretty much be any monster or any vanilla monster down to an attribute. Now I've seen people play the Avramax, which is absolutely fine because it is a 2k vanilla light monster. I've gone with the Gunkan Suship because it's a fire 2k and it came in the new set. And then we've gone with Mega Smasher because it's a water 2k as well. Now the idea is you just want to have different attributes to ritual summon your big guy, but you also want different attributes to put in the graveyard so that the effects of your Bateau Buster is always going to be a little bit more live as well. So there's a lot to kind of consider with the route that you choose to play with this and the route you kind of go with it. But these can be any vanilla monster you want, and you'll pretty much make a meta decision depending on what you're going to face as to what attribute you decide to put in here. Now on to the rest of the cards. Now obviously to help you consistently get your ritual monster or your ritual spell, we are playing triple Diviner. Now the reason we've gone with Diviner is as a budget option you can easily put Manju. If you do go Manju, because it is a level 4, it actually helps utilise rank 4 plays a little bit more. Whereas with Diviner, because it is a tuner, helps you utilise your Halifibrax plays, and also increasing its level doesn't really make much of a difference, but it does make it a little bit easier to kind of make your big ritual monster should you need to as well. Obviously the dump of Herald gives you the search, but you can also dump the Tis as a form of going second destruction and interaction as well. Then we move into the hand traps. Now the hand traps again is pretty much meta relevant of what you want to do, but you want to make sure you've got different attributes, which is why I've only gone with 2s of each of these. And obviously I've gone with 2 Ghost Bell, 2 Ash Blossom, 2 Ghost Mourner and 2 Veiler. Veiler is the most important one because it is part of the Halley Firebrax into Selene into Access Code pretty much OTK play. But then the remaining 4 is, if you wanted to, you could bump up the Ash or Morna to freeze each. The Morna is just a little spicy tech that I've kind of taken away from Silver and of course Aiden, because it does put a little bit more pressure on your opponent. Another option is you could put in the Gamma package, purely because you do play a couple of spells that your opponent might want to try and Ash. But on top of that as well, you do have a vanilla level 6 that you can send to the graveyard, and they are light attributes. But because we're using Veiler for the lights, that's why we've tried to jazz it up with these as well. And you could try and find any other hand traps, so like Crow as a dark, in my opinion, or Droll as a wind as well. So that's it for the monster lineup. Moving on to the spells. So the spells pretty much straightforward and simple on what you kind of want to see in a ritual deck, with all of your searching capabilities as well. So for the spells, we are playing triple Preparation of Rites. Obviously, your main card that you want to be searching is a level 4, so happy days on this one. Keep in mind, you won't be able to bring back the Magikey Mafti because it is not an official ritual spell. We've then gone with 2 Pot of Prosperity for consistency, but these can be desires as you do play a lot of Freos, and depending on how you adapt your build for it. We're then playing triple Magikey World with 1 Terraforming. So the Magikey World is very important because when this card is activated, you get to add a Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. The first time each non-token normal monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. During the main phase, you can add a Magikey Mefti, which is of course the spell card, from your deck to your hand. Then place 1 card from your hand onto the bottom of the deck. Only use the effects once per turn, and you can only activate this card once per turn. But the idea is that on his own, it basically acts like a Magical Meltdown, in the sense that it gets you a monster, it gets you the ritual spell or fusion spell, and then lets you continue. Speaking of the ritual and fusion spell, we play 2 of this. It is just a normal spell, but it can fusion summon a Magikey fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or face up on the field as fusion material. Ritual summon 1 Magikey ritual monster from your hand by using tributing monsters from your hand or field as ritual material. However, if you control a normal monster, you can also send 1 normal monster from your deck to the graveyard as material or tribute. So that is of course where the Magikey World comes in, because on its own, it pretty much leads you into the ritual monster or the ritual spell, depending on the route you want to be, the ritual monster or the fusion monster, depending on the route you want to go. We then play 2 High Ritual Art, which is the new modernized version of course, Advanced Ritual Art. So High Ritual Art lets you ritual summon from the deck using a normal monster from your hand whose level equal the level of the ritual monster. You have to shuffle that ritual monster back into the deck during your opponent's end phase, but the chances are if you've activated this, you're not going to leave that monster on the board. Of course, Advanced Ritual Art lets you send a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard to ritual summon from your hand. So you can see the consistency with these ritual spells, and of course the Magikey as well, is it's all kind of using or taking away one of the materials you need to successfully ritual summon. So it's taken away the need of having to open up the monster, the ritual spell, and the ritual monster, whereas on one of these, either the material is going from the deck or the ritual monster itself is coming from the deck. 1 Instant Fusion as a nice extender for rank 4 plays, but it can also bring out your Magikey Fusion monster, which lets you add the Magikey back from the graveyard to the hand. 1 Call by the Grave, because obviously a Droll and Lockbird can really hurt this deck, but also just to kind of out any of those problematic hand traps you may face. So, moving on to the traps, I've seen a lot of people play Unexpected Die. I've decided to spice it up a little bit and go with the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. Now, the reason I've done this is because we're only playing 2 other traps, so the chances of us having another trap in the graveyard is going to be very thin. It counts as an extender, and I don't need to open it up as my first card. Like, even if I've got a monster on the board, I can still use it. It counts as a level 4, so I can make rank 4 plays. I can also ritual summon my other ritual monsters as well. And if I open up this, I can turn it into a Link Spider and special a vanilla from the hand. Alternatively, if you wanted to go extra spicy, you could put a Parallel XYZ in here, because not only would Parallel XYZ count as a level 8 in the hand to ritual summon your big ritual monster, but you do want 2 attributes, keep that in mind, but it can also help instigate you into rank 4 plays as well. But the reason I've gone with this is it's just a little different of an option, and it does also give you access to Time Thief Redoer as a bounce and an interruption as well. The last 2 track cards we play are the 1 Magikey Unlocking and the 1 Magikey Duo. Now, Unlocking is a counter trap, get there eventually. So when your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a Magikey ritual or fusion monster, monster special summon from the extra deck, you can negate the activation if you do destroy it. then you can declare one attribute, and if you do, for the rest of the turn, all face-up monsters your opponent controls become that attribute. So that just helps instigate your ritual effects. The duo is basically allows you to add a normal monster or Magikey monster from your grave back to your hand, and then you can apply one of the following effects to either fusion summon or ritual summon using monsters from your hand or field as the materials. So again, these are both searchable, but they also give you those additional effects of whether you want to negate and then give you make all your opponent's monsters attributes the ones you need, or whether you want to be able to ritual or fusion using the trap card. So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. We are currently only playing one of the Magikey, I'm not even going to attempt it, level 4 fusion, and one of the level 8. Now both of these are a bit more aggressive and a bit more later game grind cards, but they do give you alternative options as well, so do not shy away from them, do keep them in mind. So the level 4 is one Magikey monster and a normal monster except a token, and if it is fusion summoned you get to add the Magikey ritual / fusion spell from your graveyard specifically to your hand. Once per turn, you can target one attack position monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey in your graveyard and change it to defense position, and if you do, it loses 1,000 attack. You get to banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. So it's kind of cool, it's 2200, but you're probably 9 out of 10 going to instant fusion it out if you get to it, because it's more so for the grind game than anything else. Now the big level 8 boss monster again requires a Magikey effect monster, so it does require you to have this guy or have one of the ritual monsters, and a normal monster except a token. And when it is fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. And then once per turn, target a normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the monster's attribute. So again, it needs to match the attribute in the graveyard. If an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card was fusion summoned using 2 different attributes, you get to draw a card. So they're not amazing, they're not broken, which is why we're only playing ones of them. They do have utility in the grind game or go in second, but you're not going to rely heavily on them. Now because we are playing Diviner, that is why we're playing the one Herald and the one Natis. If you do go for your Manju over the Diviner, then these would become Dweller and Tornado Dragon. If you do decide to play the Gamma package, of course one of these can become a Mega as well. We're only playing one level 8 Synchro, and that is purely Savage Dragon because it is probably the best Synchro monster. It does have utilities going first, but it can also become a bit of a beta going second as well. For the rank 4s, we are playing 2, one Daiguster Emerald and one Time Thief Redoer. Redoer is just a generically good rank 4 card, and if you're going to be making it with the Shade Brigandine, it does give you that nice bounce effect, and constantly taking a card from the top of your opponent's deck to give you either additional draw power or additional bounce power should you need it. The Daiguster Emerald, not only does it give you the ability to recycle your graveyard, not that you constantly want to do that because you actually like the different attributes in your graveyard, but it does give you that ability to bring a vanilla monster back from the graveyard. In doing so, that can then trigger the Magikey ritual / fusion spell because you will control a vanilla monster, and that allows you to kind of extend your plays that little bit further. For the Link monsters, we are playing the one Link Spider. Arguably, you could probably play this at 2 if you wanted to. And again, if you were playing Parallel Xyz, that's where the rank 4 engine would probably become a little bit more utilised and be a lot more helpful in the routes that you're trying to go. But Link Spider gives you that ability. Vanilla monster into Link Spider, special summon one down from the hand. Instantly, you've got the ability for a rank 2 if you want to. And these are the cases that if you use Unexpected Die or Shade Brigandine, you've got 2 monsters to the board and you haven't even used your normal summon, and that's where you could like normal summon Diviner. You've got Link Spider plus Diviner to make your Halley Firebrax play. Halley Firebrax can get you your Effect Veiler. That can then lead to Selene. Selene can then lead into defensively Appaloosa or aggressively Access Code, and you still have the vanilla on the board, so that if you wanted to get one of your ritual monsters or if you wanted to get one of your fusion monsters on the board, you could do that as well. And then once you've considered that and you've made the let's say you make the Appaloosa route, and then you activate the ritual spell using your vanilla on the board and another vanilla from the deck, that could be a negate off of your level 8 ritual monster, and then 2 negates off of Appaloosa, and your graveyard could be looking at least 3, if not 4 different attributes as well. So very good on that one. Halley Firebrax, pretty much already explained this one. You're playing a tuner in Diviner and you're playing a tuner in your level 4 ritual. So being able to make Halley Firebrax is very easy, and obviously he's going to lead into Selene, which can ultimately, because you're playing so many spells, lead you into your Access Code for aggression or your Appaloosa for defensive options. If you don't have Access Code, I would highly advise getting Avramax And then if you're going to put Avramax in here, you can look at putting stuff like Link Karibo or just a level 1 that can then be used as a Link monster to go into your Avramax. The other engine we play is, of course, Unicorn, Phoenix, and IP, just as an alternative route, but to be totally honest, you could probably make this a second Halley Firebrax, a second Selene, and your Avramax as well, so you've got covering all the bases, depending on how aggressive or defensive you want to be. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. So I've put in a couple of little spicy text when you look at stuff like the Shade Brigadine to give you alternative options, and I've kind of gone with a more tuner focused with the Diviner because I have access to them. But like I said, if you don't have access to them, it's not the end of the world. You do have other options. Stuff like the Gamma package, stuff like your Manju can replace that with the greatest of ease to give you the abilities for more level 8 synchro plays, or of course more rank 4 plays as well. So do not worry if you don't have some of the expensive cards in this deck. They are very sweet alternatives and that I have explained throughout the profile. But as absolutely always, guys, for now, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more upcoming content. And I will try and show you a quick little test hand combo video sent in by Ben at the end of this as well. But as always, guys, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling. Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.